Namaskar, good evening. You're watching Decoding Now and I am Swati Joshi. Well, today the focus is on a story from Mumbai. It's an eye-opener for all of us, especially the underage. It's about the dark shadow of drugs, about techno culture and its troubling truths. Let me tell you exactly why we are talking about this. A late-night concert in Mumbai ended in tragedy, with 2 students losing their lives and another battling for survival. After a suspected drug overdose at a techno concert in Goregaon, a drug believed to be MDMA, commonly known as ecstasy, was allegedly distributed openly at the party. Within a short span, several attendees began exhibiting severe symptoms, including breathlessness and dizziness. 2 were declared dead, while a woman is battling for her life in an ICU. After the tragedy, the host venue Nesco issued a statement expressing condolences. But the glaring lapses at the concert cannot be ignored. This evening on Decoding Now, we seek accountability and ask the big questions. So let's take a look at the big questions. What are the big questions that arise after this incident has been reported? Number 1, who allowed drugs into the concert venue? Number 2, will event organizers now take accountability? Will they take responsibility? How did MDMA peddlers operate so freely? How did they get access to the venue? Why was there no security screening to stop this from happening? Is techno culture now turning dangerous? These are some of the big questions that we are asking on the show this evening. Let's first tell you what exactly transpired at the Mumbai Techno concert. And here is an entire timeline that we are focusing on. April 11th, 9:30 p.m. Students attend the concert at Nesco Hall. So it was at around 9:30 that they attend the concert, and during the event, this is what has been reported. During the event, suspected MDMA pills were distributed among the crowd, among some people part of the concert. The victims allegedly consumed the pills that were being circulated, distributed. And then at around or in between 12 to 12:30 a.m., victims report breathlessness, dizziness and cramps. So this is when the symptoms started showing, the symptoms of the drugs that was consumed. At 2:30 a.m. on the 12th of April, 2 women and a man were admitted to the hospital after they complained of severe symptoms. At around 2:30 a.m. itself, both unfit to record statements. The people who were admitted to the hospital were not in a position to even record their statement. The man was declared dead at the hospital on April 12th at around 7 a.m. and later during the day on the 12th of April itself, 1 woman also was reported dead. 1 woman dies at the hospital while another one still remains critical, is battling for her life. So that's the entire timeline of what transpired. It's important to understand about the drug that we are talking about, which caused this tragedy. Let's talk about MDMA and its impact. First of all, what is it that we are talking about? We're talking about a synthetic drug with hallucinogenic effects. This is MDMA that was allegedly consumed during the concert. It was distributed among individuals who allegedly consumed it, and after which their symptoms started showing. It's also commonly known as ecstasy or molly. Let's talk about the usage. So this is known as ecstasy or molly. That's how it's known, the popular term for MDMA drug. As far as usage is concerned, it's taken orally, and the effects of which last for about 3 to 6 hours. Now, let's take a look at the impact. So it causes dangerous spike in body temperature. It also can lead to muscle breakdown and organ failure. It can lead to paranoia, depression, and ultimately death as well. It distorts sensory and time perception, and it overstimulates the nervous system. Increases brain serotonin and dopamine. It increases the release of serotonin and dopamine. Drinking water can also cause hypertremia. So that is the danger. That is the danger once you consume this drug. This is what can transpire. As far as actions and accountability is concerned, police are probing the bigger drug possession and sale angle. How did the drug peddlers allegedly distribute illicit substance? Where did the drugs come from? What was the source? As police probe all these angles, let's in fact take you through the action that has been taken so far after the incident was reported. Number 1, 6 held including organizers and drug peddlers. So some arrests have been made. Number 2, FIR registered under BNS, the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita and Narcotic Drugs Act. Number 3, charges linked to drug possession and sale. Number 4, probe into source and supply chain of drugs, who was responsible for supply and the source, of course. Action number 5, police question event organizers and staff. So the questioning has taken place as well. Action number 6, all 6 accused have been sent to 3-day police custody. Let's listen to what the cops have to say.
इस प्रोग्राम के दौरान 3 जो पार्टिसिपेंट है उनको अनईजी फील हो रहा था, उसकी वजह से उनको हॉस्पिटलाइज किया गया था। उसमें से 2 लोगों की डेथ हुई है, एक जो है वो स्टेबल है, उनके ऊपर उपचार शुरू है। इस प्रकरण में वनराई पुलिस स्टेशन पर एक गुना दाखिल किया गया है। अभी तक के इन्वेस्टिगेशन में 6 आरोपियों को अटक किया गया है और जो फर्दर इन्वेस्टिगेशन है वो अभी शुरू है।
Now, this is not the first time that drugs have been openly distributed in concerts. There have been numerous instances around the globe, in fact, that have resulted in tragic loss of lives. Let's take you through some of these incidents that have been reported. So this is in public domain. We know about this happening. 2010 in February, an event took place in Sydney in Australia. The event was Creamfields. Drug involved was MDMA. Now let's talk about the impact. So there was 1 death that was reported in Australia. August 2013, in New York, an event called Electric Zoo was organized. The drug involved in this event was MDMA and methylone, and that led to 2 deaths. Let's move on. Let's take a look at the other incidents that have happened. April 2016, Buenos Aires in Argentina. Time Warp was the name of the event, where the drug that was consumed, that was involved, was Superman, PMMA, that led to the death of 5 individuals. Then May 2018 in United Kingdom, Mutiny Festival was organized. The drug involved was high-strength MDMA that led to the death of 2 people. September 2018, once again, focus on Sydney, Australia. The event that took place was called DEFCON 1. Drug involved was MDMA. It led to the death of 1 individual. So these are the instances that have happened around the globe in the past. While India is slowly and gradually emerging as a huge concert economy, Mumbai tragedy exposes the dark reality of rave culture, where techno madness meets lax regulation, weak security and easy access. So let's also tell you about the dark side of techno madness. What is this culture all about? So drug culture is normalized at raves. This is part of the techno madness, that wave that we're witnessing. Lack of strict venue regulation, security checks often compromised, which of course leads to the complication of the entire situation. Easy access for underage attendees. Event organizers very easily, conveniently escape accountability. Then there are online networks, and of course drug distribution is involved. Glamorizing of drug use on social media is another evil that we have to deal with. Let's in fact go across to the guests who are joining us on the broadcast. We have Sanjay Sahai, former IPS, and Dr. Sujit Paul, health expert and youth mentor. Now, before we talk about the impact of the drug, what kind of drug this is all about, and how individuals are addicted to it, I want to first focus on the security angle. And Mr. Sahai, what is your take? Do you think it would have been easy for these drug peddlers to get access to the crowd, to ensure that these pills are distributed, if there was a tight security check? And, you know, I understand that perhaps these people got it outside the venue, then distributed it among their friends. But how was it even possible for them if there was tight security?
Actually, these people have got conversant to this act, and every concert, drugs should be peddled in a similar manner. We have seen other rape parties in Mumbai and other places as well. MDMA is a known drug which does not fit into any medical prescription. So catching MDMA should be one of the major focus of Mumbai police or any other organization. When it comes to the police, what generally happens in the situation and this, now the students are caught and the organizers are caught. Now, the police agency there, which is the local police plus the intelligence plus the narcotics control bureau, who claim of getting huge amount of drugs when they get it, and it is plastered all over the place. This needs a much more meticulous nature of work, where end to end you have to control the supply chain. It's not that MDMA has reached Bombay for the first time and there was a lax system and so it happened. The lax system is the order of the day. Now you take point to point. Now they have procured from somewhere. We are already 2 days, 3 days down the line in this particular investigation, and the police is not in a position to tell us as to from where it has been procured. Might be the general aim is, and we have seen in all sorts of cases, the superficial guys get caught. And there is huge amount of nexus which is operating. Now there is somebody picked up from the event management company who is a part of the internal security team. That fellow is an event manager sort of a thing with absolutely no idea of what drugs are. Or if he knows that this will basically bring a different level of viability to the concert goers. So these drugs, they are a part of this ecosystem, peddled freely and used freely. Now, inside another thing, when there is a private sort of a gathering or a concert, it is the private agency or the event management company who is supposed to control this whole thing. We saw it in the RCB case also in Bangalore. I don't think it can be allowed to go on in this manner. The responsibility of the local police and the state agency has to be there. Otherwise, you can declare that pockets which are in private control or academic institution where the police needs permission to get into the academic institution, it becomes a safe haven. Now, if you come to the venue as such, did the police and the private event management company, did they do even one security license? On that particular day, was there any attempt to do screening for drugs? So this is broadly where we are, and it becomes very easy to pick up the students or whomsoever is there and the event management company, and it goes ahead. I am still to find out the culpability of the local police, culpability of intelligence agencies, and our much famed national...
Right, so you're saying just by arresting the event organizers or students from the venue is not going to solve the problem. You have to address the root cause. Do stay on with us, Mr. Sahai. Let me go across to Dr. Sujit Paul, health expert and also youth mentor. Now, many call this a party drug and they underestimate it. But going by the incidents that have been reported globally and the one that we have witnessed in Mumbai, even though the impact or the effect lasts for around 3 to 6 hours, can the situation, the state of an individual deteriorate to such an extent that they can lose their lives? Dr. Paul?
Oh, yes, definitely. There can be scientific even seen. Typically, what happens is that the effects, when it is taken orally, it starts anything between half an hour kind of thing. And of course, as you rightly mentioned, it stays around 3 to 6 hours. There are a lot of risks, and the risks could be really, really fatal. But what happens is that there can be an acute sense of dehydration that can actually happen. There can be acute sense of sudden fatigue, depression, anxiety that can instantly start. But what is important is that, you don't know the body of the person who is taking it. And people cannot just take whatever form of MDMA like that, because it acts as a releasing agents for serotonin, dopamine, and similar. So it's extremely dangerous, and I think we must have very strong laws to curb any such usage. And we have seen across the world, whether it's in UK, US, Australia, everywhere we have seen this, and we have seen deaths across. So I fully support Mr. Sahai, our former IPS, that only by, pointing out one incident would not solve out the problem. We need to go into the root cause. We need to also ensure that when any such kind of event happens, if at all, it should be fully legal. The local police must have full control of that, and there should be a very, very tight security in the whole ecosystem, because it could really be fatal.
Absolutely. Now, Dr. Paul, this is what I read somewhere, that, a physical activity, indulging in physical activity after consuming such drugs can actually act as a trigger. And given that these students were in a music concert, do you believe dancing or, taking part in the physical activity may also have played a role here in accelerating things?
See, I think let us understand some basics. any sort of physical activity, when people go to a gym, when they do cardio, when they do exercise, when they do dance, and that too, please understand, there are so many people are exhaling carbon dioxide continuously.
Yes.
At times, the oxygen level decreases in that entire arena wherever this kind of parties happens. So definitely it can have a huge impact in the body, and especially when someone is dancing, they're sweating, salt is going out of the body, and terrible amount of carbon dioxide is around. So definitely, yes.
Mr. Sahay, concert culture is here in India. It's only going to, boom. So, which is good for our economy, good for all those who like music and like socializing through these concerts. But then, how does one address this threat of drugs being circulated? What additional measures do you think the police officials can take? What systems can be brought in place?
First, there is no concept of concert management. So until something like your crowd management, where we see stampedes and variety of crowd mismanagement on a regular basis, and there are judicial commissions and variety of other things, few suspensions of police officer and the event management company, that's the end of it. Today also we don't have a scientific system of crowd management, and I would stick to that. Now coming to concert management is a totally new game, and until we have experts to handle it, and it's not only the police. Now, if the police is there to check drugs, how effectively can they check? Correct. Do they even understand, which means the cutting edge of the police machinery? Do they understand what drugs are, which drugs are available, what is the supply chain? If we are aiming for a concert economy, which certainly we are, then we have to put in place a multi-stakeholder concert management system, an ecosystem in place. We should have legal stuff, we should have entertainment. Literally all the stakeholders have to be in unison. Now, two things are very important. One is the drug part of it, and second is the enforcement part of it. Now, our health expert is saying about the laws. All laws are in place. India is basically a mecca of non-enforcement to a level that the cutting edge of the administration, inclusive of the police, are at times unaware as to how these things can be handled. So that is where the crux of the problem is. So until we start bringing this whole issue into the public domain, outside of a criminal case and outside of few people being picked up as accused and case being charge sheeted, we don't know the back end how it is happening. I was just going through a couple of data on the internet. There's only one case which Mumbai police has been able to lay their hands on. Most of the time what happens that somebody gives us the information and we act on that. I would like to know what is the proactive system in Mumbai.
Absolutely.
To take care of, leave aside the concerts, our academic institutions.
That's a very important point you're raising. And we have Dr. Paul, he's a youth mentor as well. What more can be done? Because according to Mr. Sai, nothing is being done at the moment. But what can be done to ensure awareness amongst the youth?
Please understand that for all the youths, whosoever it is, first is that they should and they must take their own responsibility. No government can do anything. No one can do anything unless they take own responsibility. Now, what I always say is that I think, if you really see how the education system in India operates, or anywhere in the world, they don't really emphasize on these things much. So as the students grow up, right from the school to the college to the university, a very strict movement towards sensitizing the students about what these parameters are, how things should be handled. There are certain things that is no for
Absolutely. Sorry to interrupt, but that's the point I was going to make. That these things are also a taboo. So maybe as a society also we need to loosen up a little bit and start, talking to our kids about the menace, the ill effects from an early age.
And parents need to speak. They need to explain. The universities, the teachers, the schools, everyone need to see. It's a program by itself. It's a program by itself. Once we run the program, then the chances are way better, that our young students would not misuse
Absolutely.
these things.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Mr. Sahai and Dr. Paul, for joining us on the broadcast, for putting things into context, for taking those questions. Of course, there are a lot of questions that are still unanswered. Let's hope that the investigators are able to find the root cause and act against this entire nexus, which is operating not just, of course, in Mumbai, but across the country as well. With that, we're slipping into a very short break.